we must adapt to a changing environment. Violent crime is up all across the country in every major city.
Stand up, pat our police officers on the back, shake their hands, and say thank you for what you're doing for us.
Well, the Dallas mayor and police chief say they speak as one in their plan to enlist the help of state troopers, sheriff's deputies, and other officers. The four police associations in Dallas, though, say it's a crisis of the chief's own making. Michael Mata, a vice president of the largest group, the Dallas Police Association. And for example, with the domestic violence warrants, you say this was a group, you had people out rounding up domestic violence offenders. What happened to that task force?
Correct. We did have a group of officers that their dedicated job was to serve family violence warrants, and that group was reduced over the last year and a half. And since then, that is the reason why these warrants have started to backlog, and we are in a situation we are now that we have to address it.
So you arrest a guy who's got a domestic violence warrant, he goes to court, he gets a bond, he's out in a couple of days. What did that solve?
You know, that's the tough thing about the criminal justice system. You know, that's where we really need the help from the state. We need to strengthen the law that's on the books, actually use the laws that are on the books, and keep these offenders, these known offenders, in jail.
Early on, when this story first broke, it was portrayed as the chief wants to move 600 officers, he's now reduced that to less than half of that, to night shift. And all four associations came out in opposition to that. Honestly, I got to tell you that the callers I've heard from say, you guys are whining. You just don't want to work nights. You ought to want to work nights. That's when the crime happens.
You know, and I understand that coming from the citizens, they don't understand our job. And it's no different than I don't understand an accountant's job or an architect's job. I want to assure the public, in no way are we whining because we have our days off changed or our evenings. I mean, I've been on 21 years and I'm working deep nights with weekdays off. Mm-hmm. So we all completely understand that that's our job. The problem is that the reallocation of resources not going to the right place. We have a serious problem in Dallas, and our problems are related to drugs, guns, and gangs. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to the officer to send somebody who works in the personnel unit out to fight drugs. That's not their niche. That's not what they know what to do. It doesn't make any sense to send somebody from the safety unit who does permits and safety to send that person out to fight gangs. They don't understand that. We need to increase the target groups that go after these certain particular crimes. So, an example, the gang unit. The gang unit needs to be greatly increased in our opinion. Right now we're looking at 6 officers for 1.2 million people.
Isn't it the chief's job? The city council gives him the budget, tells him how many officers he can have. Isn't it his job to allocate the resources as he sees fit?
Absolutely. He's the chief of the police. He sets the mission, and us as the officers, his troops, our job is to follow through with his mission. All we're asking is that sometimes the upper administration, they don't have a clear picture of what is actually going on with the foot soldiers, what's actually going on in the streets. So all we're asking is when these policies are being talked about, are being created, these new programs, these new target groups, let us have a seat at the table to help them come up with solutions that can fight this crime, that can reduce this crime. Who knows better than the street cop on how to fight crime?
So more bottom-up leadership is what you're suggesting.
Yes, sir.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you coming in.